There are moments when an unseen signal quietly stirs the air, a silent pulse that rearranges everything inside before you even understand what's happening. It's as if reality itself pauses, draws a deep breath, and then pivots the entire direction of your story. Some people call this luck or coincidence, but anyone truly awake knows better. Something is carefully unfolding, far beneath the surface. Every setback that threatened to unravel your plans, every ache that kept echoing after everyone else moved on, every decision that demanded more than you thought you had, these weren't empty trials or random storms. What looked like endings were actually new blueprints drawn up for a life that was always meant to be different from the rest. Even the heavy sacrifices, the kind that left invisible fingerprints on your soul, were not just losses. They became the secret architecture for a greatness being crafted inside you, even when you felt most alone. Some individuals are destined to carry a blueprint for change inside them, even before they realize what's being built. Letting go has a way of stripping the familiar out from under you, leaving questions swirling in the quiet. Uncertainty creeps in, whispering doubts and regrets, tempting you to believe that surrender was weakness. Yet what was surrendered was never lost, it was exchanged. Not for comfort, but for expansion. The decision to walk away from what once defined you didn't just require courage, it demanded faith in something beyond logic. Because this path was never about settling for less, but making space for a presence so whole and potent that the past version of yourself couldn't contain it. There are moments when a single choice becomes the lever that shifts your entire landscape. Whether it meant stepping away from roles that dulled your spark, habits that clipped your growth, or even old dreams that no longer fit, every departure served as a catalyst for becoming unrecognizable, in the best way. What was released was not an accident of timing, but a gentle push toward edges you'd never have found by standing still. Gratitude grows, not just as relief, but as a sudden awareness that the pieces you thought were breaking were actually fitting into a greater pattern than you ever dared imagine. Pain has a strange alchemy, it refines, tests, and clarifies more than any comfort ever could. Every moment spent wrestling with worth, every hour when rest refused to visit, every unspoken hope pressed under the weight of doubt, all of it was necessary preparation. Not for surviving the storms, but for designing the weather. It's not just about making it through, it's about understanding that existence itself can be shaped and rewritten from within. What stands in opposition is never random, it recognizes the magnitude of what's awakening. Barriers weren't just obstacles, they were active challenges, tailor-made to provoke your breakthrough. These energies, subtle or overt, sensed the change long before it became visible. Their purpose wasn't simply to delay you, but to reveal the strength and radiance that only emerges when resistance is at its peak. Some people move through the world with a rare kind of clarity, able to spot hidden intentions behind even the most polished masks. Every time a voice claimed authority over your path, presenting itself as a guide or a protector, a deeper instinct sensed the imbalance. True allies nurture growth side by side, while subtle opportunists seek to harvest your progress for themselves. This distinction becomes second nature to those who refuse to be overshadowed by another's shadow. It's often the most vibrant spirits who attract attempts at containment. Anything that can't be controlled becomes a threat to those invested in the status quo. The more your vision expanded, the more creative energy began to flow, the more pressure was applied to shrink your world into something predictable. The strategy was never brute force, it was the silent campaign of second-guessing, of constant doubt, of steering your focus away from your own wellspring and back toward their expectations. But every web eventually unravels. Unseen at first, your ability to decode the language of control grew with every encounter. Insight bloomed, exposing patterns that once operated in the background. What masqueraded as care was, in reality, a mechanism to draw your strength away. Liberation didn't roar into existence, it arrived as a quiet, persistent shift. The choice to trust your inner signals, to place more weight on your own understanding than on external commentary, marked the true turning point. Most people never even notice the invisible chains that bind them. Breaking free required neither confrontation nor retribution, but the patient cultivation of self-respect. Where others were distracted by outside noise, you became fluent in the dialect of your own intuition, finding certainty not in their stories, but in your own unfolding. To stand tall in your own narrative is an act of rare maturity. In this phase of your journey, reflection becomes a tool, not an escape. What looks like a lull from the outside is actually a season of deep recalibration, where every lesson, every misstep, is woven into a new, more resilient fabric. Emotional honesty is no longer something to avoid. Grief, sorrow, even fear are no longer exiles but messengers that simply pass through. There's no more pretending that light exists without its counterpart. Now, every uncomfortable feeling is recognized as part of the return to one's center, a signal that true power is found not in running, but in remaining present for every part of your human experience. Certain souls possess the rare courage to confront what others avoid, stepping directly into the unknown where clarity is born from tension. Transmutation isn't just a lofty ideal, it's a lived reality for those who no longer let discomfort dictate the script. Where most shrink from their suffering or shift blame outward, these alchemists learn to draw nourishment from adversity, allowing each difficult memory to become a foundation for wisdom and a guide for others searching for hope. The art of shaping reality begins when one accepts that the old must dissolve to reveal the new. Sometimes, entire worlds must be left behind to uncover what's truly possible. Not every demolition signals defeat. Sometimes it's the only way to clear space for something more vibrant. The creative impulse, when truly honored, demands that attachments loosen so the next chapter can write itself. This process isn't reckless destruction but the highest form of conscious artistry. Every step forward is marked by a heightened awareness, a quiet gravity that draws others in, even if they can't name the source. After weathering countless internal storms, presence deepens, and the kind of calm arrives that only those who've survived real chaos can possess. Some inherit a gift for elevating the world around them, reshaping any challenge into growth, turning limitation into opportunity. Those who share their work or vision with others, be it through artistry, performance, or presence, should pay special attention. Not all who gather near wish you well. Forces invested in containment are often threatened not by what is visible, but by the untapped influence lying beneath the surface. Attempts to limit, control, or diminish always arise when latent brilliance begins to surface. Sometimes, hollow offers of safety or companionship are nothing more than attempts to domesticate what can't be tamed. Attempts to confine radiance inevitably fail. The impulse to narrate, edit, or gatekeep creative expression crumbles under the pressure of genuine purpose. When a calling is genuine, no amount of manipulation can extinguish it. What is meant to shine cannot be hidden. What once felt like loss or defeat, upon reflection, reveals itself as necessary rearrangement. Each closed door, every detour, served as a release from invisible shackles. What first appeared as collapse is ultimately recognized as the first spark of true ascension, a prelude to an era defined by boundless possibility and untethered vision. Those with the rare bravery to walk away from comfort and approval end up receiving rewards that can't be measured in ordinary terms. A season of quiet assurance rises from within, an inner harmony that does not depend on what's happening outside. Instead of searching for fleeting highs, a deep current of fulfillment emerges, born from the choice to finally live in alignment with one's core self. With the end of confusion comes a dawning sense of perspective. No longer bound by the static of external influence, the mind finds clarity where before there was only haze. Decisions become easier, direction sharpens. The days of second-guessing every move and doubting every instinct start to fade, replaced by a knowing that feels both ancient and brand new. Transformation is not just an inward event, it changes the entire atmosphere around you. A subtle magnetism draws the attention of others, even if you don't understand why. The energy you bring into a room is unmistakable, confident, grounded, unmistakably real. This is the result of rebuilding from the inside out, and it is visible to anyone willing to look. As this inner shift unfolds, the world responds in kind. Relationships evolve. The possibility of genuine connection appears, connections where mutual respect and true partnership replace the old cycles of depletion and compromise. Whether romance or friendship, these bonds will honor who you are becoming, never asking you to shrink or contort your essence. Material blessings follow the spiritual ones. For those who have set aside tangible gain or security in the name of integrity, abundance returns in ways that outstrip the old measurements. Resources and stability find their way to you as a byproduct of your willingness to step away from what did not serve your growth. What was forfeited in the past is replaced many times over. Every conscious decision, every step away from comfort or convenience, has been seen and accounted for. The universe operates with a memory far longer than human awareness, and the time for restoration is at hand. This renewal is not just compensation, it is a new foundation on which to build without constraint. New gifts begin to surface, as if some hidden reservoir within you is being tapped for the first time. Curiosity leads to discoveries about your own talents and desires that were once unimaginable. The process awakens a sense of destiny, revealing that these trials were never just about survival, they were always about unlocking a dormant greatness that the world needs now more than ever. Some individuals move through life carrying echoes of ages most have forgotten, holding insights collected from places beyond simple memory. The guidance and perspective offered seem almost timeless, as if experience itself has woven a tapestry in the background. There's a natural gravitation, people sense a well of understanding that goes deeper than what this lifetime alone could teach. Those who radiate this depth soon find themselves called upon to illuminate paths for others, serving as living proof that rising above limitation is more than just theory. A transformation this profound leaves a mark on the world around you. Others notice something unspoken, an intangible certainty that inspires hope. This presence signals to those still wrestling with their own barriers that real change is possible, that escape from stagnation is within reach. By standing tall in newfound freedom, a model is offered to those seeking the courage to outgrow what once contained them. Layers of reality are often disguised and misrepresented, woven with half-truths and hidden agendas. Yet some hearts retain a kind of inner compass, sensing when stories have been distorted or when truths lie buried beneath distraction. It's this unwavering discernment that explains resilience, an intuitive ability to see past illusions, to keep standing even when everything else is shifting. The script may be altered, but the integrity remains unbroken, waiting for the right moment to emerge. Those attuned to the unseen find themselves equipped with knowledge and techniques most never encounter. These tools, forged in silence and persistence, are not easily accessed or understood by the masses. A unique readiness develops, making one nearly impossible to suppress, erasing the need for outside permission. The realization dawns that this journey is not about fitting in, but about remembering an original assignment to awaken possibility. Invisible support surrounds those on this path, even when it feels like a solitary endeavor. Forces aligned with the highest good move behind the scenes, orchestrating intersections, dissolving barriers, and sparking inspiration in the least expected ways. The assurance of unseen allies brings a quiet confidence, evidence that protection and encouragement are constantly being woven into the journey. Assistance from beyond the visible world is felt in ways both subtle and direct. Solutions arrive unexpectedly, opportunities materialize, and moments of doubt are answered by a wave of insight or an unexpected act of kindness. These moments are reminders that the path is not walked alone, that the wisdom and love of generations flow in to support the unfolding of one's destiny. Pain and longing do not go unnoticed in this story. Every silent plea, every tear shed in private, reverberates through the fabric of existence, drawing the attention of those who wait to lift and sustain. In moments of despair, unseen arms offer strength, preparing and shaping the spirit for the day when true identity is finally recognized and embodied. Certain lives become bridges, channels through which inspiration and new potential enter the world. The capacity to create and dream is not a private luxury, it is a trust, a charge to expand what is possible for all. The work accomplished here reverberates outward, offering a blueprint of hope and expansion that others may follow. This generative force is what made attempts to silence or control so relentless, for those invested in limitation always feel threatened by the emergence of genuine freedom. Some individuals awaken a kind of tension in those who are invested in their own illusions, simply by refusing to shrink. The ones who once tried to manage your path sensed, long before you did, that your liberation would unravel their carefully crafted narratives. It wasn't just about opposition, it was about survival for them, because the truth you're living now threatens to make their games irrelevant. But what they underestimated is the simple reality that authentic spirits can be slowed, but never silenced. When real power starts to gather, it takes on a quality that defies containment. Every attempt to minimize, erase, or manipulate only sharpens the core and polishes the resolve. Brilliance can be muffled for a while, but it can't be erased. What once felt like limitations now reveal themselves as the grit that shaped an unstoppable resolve. Now, in this new era of clarity, every step forward is guided by momentum that can't be bought or controlled. There comes a turning point when the environment itself seems to recognize the change. Life reconfigures itself, opportunities come into view, pathways clear, and strangers with the right words or resources appear as if conjured by intention alone. Circumstances line up to mirror your newfound direction, confirming that the internal shift was not in vain. It's not just luck, it's a signal that your alignment is being echoed in the fabric of the world. The work of transformation comes with a new invitation, to lean into the unexplored, to trust the subtle cues that only you can hear. Old rules dissolve, replaced by the gentle nudge to experiment, to approach each moment with a sense of wonder, to become an explorer in a realm where your intuition is the compass. This is not about reckless abandon, it's about honoring the guidance that flows when you let go of the need for constant approval. Joy becomes an act of defiance in a world that profits from fear. The systems that once tried to govern your spirit insisted that seriousness was a virtue and caution was survival. But those who remember the deeper purpose rediscover the value of laughter, spontaneity, and creative play. This isn't about escaping responsibility, it's about embracing the fullness of existence, finding meaning in ordinary moments, and weaving beauty into every day. A calling unfolds that is not content with routine or resignation. You are being drawn to efforts that feel invigorating, where your contribution is felt, and your unique abilities are celebrated rather than suppressed. Work takes on a different dimension, it becomes an avenue for connection, meaning, an energetic exchange rather than mere survival. What you're building now is infused with the joy of co-creation, and it sustains rather than drains. Abundance is no longer measured by what's in the bank, but by the richness of each experience. New opportunities are on the horizon, ones that recognize your gifts, value your perspective, and reflect the power of your authentic presence. The old paradigm of sacrifice and depletion is replaced by a new model, prosperity that is holistic, fulfillment that runs deeper than any paycheck, and a sense of belonging that only comes from finally living as the truest version of yourself. Those who embody transformation carry a quiet momentum that extends far beyond personal growth. The elevation being experienced is not a solitary victory, it's a rising tide that subtly lifts those in proximity. The shift radiates outwards, quietly altering the possibilities available to everyone who witnesses your unfolding. This journey is as much about igniting potential in others as it is about receiving blessings for oneself. Each act of courage becomes a catalyst. Whenever comfort is exchanged for integrity, or smallness for expansion, the signal sent ripples through the unseen networks connecting all people. This is how lasting change occurs, not with declarations, but with the consistent, gentle defiance of living in alignment with what feels most true. Every decision made in authenticity gently invites others to consider what's possible in their own lives. Personal stories of reclamation become lanterns for the weary. Experiences of transcending limitation and rewriting the script act as guiding lights for those struggling to find a way out. The evidence of real change, of new beginnings hiding inside apparent losses, offers hope where despair once lingered. This is the reason unseen support is ever present, why the forces of grace rally behind the effort, because the impact is collective, not just individual. The movement away from bondage is inseparable from a wider shift taking place across the human experience. As alignment deepens, it's common to sense a larger tapestry being woven, one in which each personal breakthrough echoes into the shared reality. The presence carried into new environments subtly recalibrates the atmosphere, infusing it with possibility and permission for others to rise as well. The field of influence naturally expands, shifting the energy wherever you are. Rather than striving to persuade or convert, the sheer authenticity of your existence offers a new template. The transformation is ongoing, a process rather than a finish line. There will be days when doubts creep in, when the comfort of old patterns beckons. The urge to return to familiar territory, even when it no longer fits, is a normal part of this evolution. Questions will arise, especially in moments of vulnerability, about whether the choice to grow was worth the uncertainty. This is a sign not of failure, but of progress, a reminder that courage is required not just once, but again and again as the unfamiliar becomes the new home. Through all of this, the original spark is kept alive by the decision to keep moving forward. The real revolution is quiet but unstoppable, the living example of one person's liberation setting off an unseen chain reaction in the hearts and minds of many, one step, one choice, one day at a time. Those who walk between realities become more than witnesses, they become interpreters of what's possible for an entire generation. The gifts awakening within are not limited to material gain, they ripple through every corner of the heart, every layer of the spirit, every sphere of creation. A richness arises that defies ordinary measurement, bringing beauty to every area simply because you chose to be true to yourself when most would have chosen comfort. Imagination is no longer a source of escape, it's a tool for reshaping destiny. While some tried to confine your creative power, that very energy became the architect of your freedom. Worry and self-doubt are being replaced with curiosity and design. You're building a reality not based on inherited fears, but on the vision springing from your own untamed mind. Every thought, every dream is now fuel for an unfolding masterpiece. To step fully into conscious creation is to become a participant in the cosmic dance, no longer a bystander. Existence transforms from a series of reactions to a sequence of intentional acts. The guidance, support, and inspiration you receive from the unseen isn't charity, it's a recognition of your unfolding role as a catalyst for change. Those who cheer you on from realms beyond do so because your progress unlocks something larger for everyone. Each step forward echoes through a greater story, a narrative far bigger than any individual journey. Support comes not out of obligation, but out of recognition. Your evolution is woven into the fabric of collective possibility. The so-called losses that marked your path were never endings, but exchanges, temporary discomfort traded for long-term liberation. Gratitude is not just relief, but awe at how every hardship became a stepping stone toward clarity. Struggle has been the forge, shaping raw experience into wisdom. Pain has been a silent instructor, guiding you to discover strength in the moments when all seemed lost. The journey was never about punishment, but about preparation. What once looked like an obstacle now appears as the ground on which you build the next chapter, the wellspring from which your new identity emerges. This transformation is not a conclusion, but a threshold. The foundation you've set will serve as the launch pad for a life that pulses with creative force, meaningful connections, and opportunity. The time for holding back is over. With every step you take, the world responds, presenting you with the partnerships, resources, and experiences that align with your elevated frequency. A rare kind of vision is awakening, a depth of perception that pierces through the surface of appearances. You are now able to discern what others overlook, to sense the shape of truth in a maze of illusions. While many remain caught in cycles of scarcity and limitation, you see windows where others see walls, possibilities where others see dead ends. This clarity is not just intuition, but a hard-earned ability to see patterns and connections hidden from ordinary view. Discernment has become a trusted companion, sharpening your ability to separate what truly nourishes from what merely distracts. All along, unseen mentors have nudged you toward self-reliance and authentic expression. The challenges you faced were not random, they were rigorous training for the work that only you can do. The trials have ended. The season of waiting is complete. It's time to walk boldly into a reality shaped by your wisdom, power, and vision. A new chapter dawns now, animated by the knowledge of what you are capable of and the confidence that you are precisely where you are meant to be. This isn't just survival, it's the beginning of legacy, purpose, and the joy of fully inhabiting the life that was waiting for you all along.